Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones, and welcome to another episode of Project Infinity 1.0. I am going to irritate you until the end of the series. But, how are you guys doing today? How's life? So first off, you might notice that we have refined obsidian armor without having Mechanism. That is because I have gone into creative... No, I actually got the entire set from our mob farm and I enchanted it. Hello, we go back. I shouldn't go there that often. So what is the plan for today? Well, that is a very good question. The plan has already started. Before I started recording. So this one is not important. I just wanted to know how many upgrades I can put inside, and the answer is 16. So it's like FTB stone block. This is also not a perfect automation, but I have some simulation chambers for the Ender Dragon prediction and the Wither. Left heart, right heart. Well, so that changes things. It's a good thing I got 12. So obviously I do have the Ender Dragon prediction inside the simulation chamber so that I would be able to upgrade my power system. You know, the solar panels. But we are also trying to gather a huge amount of resources, and by huge I really mean a ridiculous amount. And I just noticed this one. Extra hearts. So obviously in order to generate the resources, what we're going to do is that we're going to do a ton of sieving, and as you guys remember, we can enchant the meshes. However, I ran into a bit of a problem. You know, our Eternal is not enough. So I have made some health shelves, I have upgraded them into infused version, and still it's not enough for fortune. So that basically means that we have to do a bit of apotheosis in order to get better fortune on the meshes. I have just upgraded the infused health shelves into the glowing versions that gives us Eterna, Quanta and Arcana. And I have also made some deep shelves. Unfortunately for that we need more Quanta. So here's the skull. Over there it was not powering the enchantment table, so I put it over there. So now we can infuse the deep shelf. So now we have another problem. We need the echoing deep shelf, which requires echo shards. And then I need the Warden tendril, which, you know, needs a Warden. I just made an extra deep shelf, and yeah, with those we can go to Fortune 6. I want higher. Let's do the Warden. If nothing goes wrong, I think it's going to be way easier than you would think. But as usual, let us get like 4 data models. From sieving something, we're getting Skulk Shriekers, right? And yeah, that something is crushed endstone. They also give us something called Skulk Core. The chances of that is pretty garbage, but we have 9. And that is obviously a quest, but how do we use that? Apparently, we have to put the Shrieker down, then we summon the Warden. It will be considered like the one that we have in vanilla, not the one which is placed down by the player. So you have to jump up and down on the Shrieker. Yeah, that is a Warden. Let's sync them. We put them in, eat the apple, and kill him. I do a garbage amount of damage. Okay, that went well. And we got the tendril. I think I have to do this 6 more times. I'll be right back. I do have a feeling that a bit of a faster method is going to be through the bow. Because look at the amount of damage I'm taking. Yeah, the bow is better. He's dead. The question is that, does it count? Yeah. Also, let's break this one. We don't need it anymore. Because yeah, our data models are basic. Did you know something funny? So I just killed the Warden, but we are getting echo shards from sieving. And we get honey from our mob farm. So I can upgrade all of them into echoing deep shelves. Oh, we don't have Skulk. Oops. It's okay. Can we like cheat a bit? Because correct me if I'm wrong, but apparently you get Skulk when a mob dies, right? It's just that I'm not sure if it's the catalyst. Well, it's doing something. I don't know this mechanic from vanilla. Does it have to be upgraded? No? Okay, I did read the wiki. It does require experience. I tried to give it my own experience, but that doesn't really work. It requires the experience from the mob which is dying. And that's kind of not gonna happen. So I have all the Warden data models inside the simulation chambers, and yeah, we're just gonna go with echo shards. And I have also made a few echoing Skulk shells. We have 4. So apparently with 5 echoing Skulk shells, we're at max fortune. Fortune 8. I can live with that. We also have to sort this XP problem. So as usual, we're actually stuck with sand, but I think the rates are better because I did put dust in one of them, and look, we're getting a backlog. Kind of. So Fortune 8 seems to be fine. I'm actually quite happy with that. But that also meant that we can increase some of the stats on our sword and other things. For example, Smite 9, Breaking, Looting. Sweeping Edge is not bad. You can have everything, even Scavenger. It's a shame that you can't get Mending. Anyways, now that we are fully geared up and I have made myself some extra food, let's go do some resource gathering. I believe there should be some sort of a dank null in this mod pack. Yes, that is very true. And it's even called dank. So that's perfect. So I reached to dank 6, the purple one, and I was like, why is this a recipe? Because you know, diamonds, you would expect after that it would be netherite. Then I remembered, yeah, crying obsidian is hard to get, but we got it from a bastion and we only have one left. And thanks to our data models, we can also upgrade it to Dank 7. What is that? Oh, okay. Upgrade kit. At this very moment, I'm not really willing to spend time on automating the resource generation and sieving because I have more important things to do. Therefore, we're just gonna steal things. Obviously, I'm going to start with blackstone in order to get more ancient debris, and that's 4,000, we need way more. After repairing my tools, our next destination is obviously the end, for crushed endstone. It's mainly for draconium, that's it. Also, every time that I gather something, it takes like 5 minutes. So don't you worry, we're not wasting that much time. For a very weird reason, I also decided to come to the Lost Cities because I wanted some gravel, sand and dust. I was just being lazy, we got a decent amount. It's a good thing I came here. That's a blitz. And I was wondering where would you find them? Because you need them for some of the recipes. But in general, this is a perfect place to live. No clue what was that. Anyways, now that we have all the resources, let us get ourselves a duck. And I guess we can put it here. And the tank goes in. Yeah, we're getting the items. Perfect. It does need a speed upgrade. Well, we are getting tons of resources, which makes me really happy, and I was also claiming the rewards, and I got an Oldemodium nugget. How? I don't know. You know, I just literally claimed everything. Ah, this is a loot bag. I'm very sorry, we can't process this. But one of the quests did manage to give me an ascended coin. What the? Those are jerks. What happened here? Anyways, I just wanted to check on coins for flight. No, definitely not enough. We have 21. We need 11 more. I wanted those resources for a few things. First off, I do have a very weird feeling that we are going to need an extra assembler matrix. I do understand it can handle a huge and crazy amount of patterns, it's just that I'm scared. Cause yeah, you might notice the early game is very easy, but for example, this is the draconic core, right? Crafting it is the same items, nothing is hyper expensive and it's fine. However, then you need that draconic core with a bunch of other stuff in order to make something called Infinity 1. This is like Demon Steel, Neutral Steel from Project Ozone, and it does get worse every single time that you want to make it. Same concept, so it's going to be humongously expensive at the end. Also, unlike Meatball Craft, nothing that you see over here comes from Content Tweaker. They're all from different mods, except these ones. You know, different essences. So with everything that I have just mentioned, we are going to try and make another assembly matrix. Last time I counted how many items I'm going to need, this time I forgot. I should write the numbers down. Yeah, apparently the correct number is 68. You might also notice a gap in between the two assemblers, that is for the quantum computer. The walls should be 150, and the rest we are just going to order the same number of cores. That's it. Oh, I don't have CPUs. Yes. I don't have good CPUs. This is why I should have kept the extra speed core. Okay, so we have our second assembly matrix, and this one has a bit less patterns and more crafting cores. Because yeah, I did mention that we're going to need way more, but I don't think they're going to go that crazy, right? I hope. But I have also made a few controllers. This is where we're going to have our main one. And I think I'm going to go with the one that we made in stone block, which is 7 long. You know, it's a 3x3x7. Let's just check if I have not made any boo-boos. Are you gonna work? Yeah. Perfect. Also, we're just gonna put it up here. Let us also get a few P2P tunnels, and maybe a few on the side. Actually, I even have a few on top, so let's use them. Yeah, I think that looks fine for the moment. But if you look at the questline for Applied Energistics, there are a few quests up here. So one is disable channels, normal channels, 2 times channels, 3 times, and 4 times. We're gonna go with that. So I think it's just going to be exactly like FTB Stone Block. Honestly speaking, I don't really mind the channels, it's just that I enjoyed it in FTB Stone Block. Obviously that just means that there's going to be less cabling and I have to hide them less. But I have also connected our drives, our CPUs and everything that we have over here through a P2P tunnel to our controller over there. And now we have to take a very small break from Applied Energistics. I want to make the quantum computer and I have absolutely no processing power, I can't do anything. I need crushed ender pearls. I don't even have a crusher. Normally the way that I automate everything from Mechanism, it's very straightforward. However, in this mod pack it's very different. So you have infused alloy, reinforced alloy, atomic alloy, radiance alloy, thermonuclear alloy, shining alloy, and spectrum. And there's also these ones. It's from evolved Mechanism. So my normal system is not gonna work. That's the main point. So the early part is going to be very grindy, but once we get a few upgrades, things are going to speed up. Wasn't that grindy, but we're making decent progress. The machines are now basic tier, most of them have the upgrades, especially the energy upgrade. Speed upgrade we can't really afford to go that crazy. Which actually brings us to our next problem, our power generation. So we have tons of solar panels, but our cable is garbage. Also, the solar panels are not garbage, so let's try to make the better ones. I have already set in the patterns. So can we have the draconic one? We have everything apart from obsidian. That is perfectly fine. We have tons. So, give me. Who gave... Oh my goodness. That's nitro. Who gave me that? It's only 2000 RF, but when did I get this? Anywho, before we get those solar panels, we also need to get better cables. And of course, we're going to go with the universal cable, the ultimate version, for now. Yeah, we have some atomic alloy as well. Padro, give me 10. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, our solar panels are ready. These are actually great, I think. I forgot to check how much they make. 65,000 RF, that's not bad. I have also brought 8 of our solar panels over here. I'm emptying their power so that they would stack. And then we're going to have 2 more. Ouch. Because I don't really think you can craft 2 more. Yeah, well, it's glass. Only glass. Well, let's convert these ones first. Oh, still glass. Oops, not a big deal. We exactly have like 4,000 sand in the tank. Also, you guys should have a crazy amount of experience. That's not bad. So can I have the solar panel? Oh my goodness. 19. That was horrifying. But it's perfectly fine. I just hammered a lot. That's more than 19, I suppose. If I'm not wrong, that should be 250,000 RF or something. But we cannot go to the next solar panel. That's a bit expensive. Our second set of solar panels is ready. Didn't know that. So let's just hook them up. We will get more, don't you worry. But there is something that I want to try. So this crushing factory is maxed out. You know, 16 speed upgrades, 16 energy upgrades. How much power are you going to consume? But that's it? That's not bad. You know, I thought it's going to be like stone block where it's going to consume like 200,000 RF per tick. 2000 is manageable. Alright guys, now that we have the basics of Mechanism, we can start working. You know, at least we have some fast machines, which is great. So the reason that Mechanism is different in this mod pack than the ones that we have played previously is because of the add-ons, right? Normally what I used to do is that I used to have an enrichment factory on top of an infuser. I would just simply export redstone to it so that we get this kind of redstone from Mechanism so that we would be able to make the infused alloy inside the infuser, right? So in this version the problem is that there are so many infusion recipes, so we have to separate the processes. Meaning that the enrichment factory is going to, for example, make us the enriched redstone, and then the infusing factory should take that infused redstone and make us the alloy. And I think in order to be able to do that, what we need is this guy, the advanced processing pattern. I have been checking, and yes, according to the guide, this pattern allows you to interact with different sides of the machine. You know, without any cabling. However, you might notice it does require something called printed quantum circuit. Hence, we need to focus on our applied energistics one more time. We need more energy cells. It's advanced AE, extended AE, and all of them require tons of power. I don't know if that is enough, but let's order 10 more. Then next to our assemblers and in the floor, I have some reaction chambers. And I have also made some circuit slicers. We might as well automate everything. It's on both sides. The pattern provider is in the center, so it's going to distribute the job between 4 machines. The recipes that we have to process inside the reaction chamber as well as the circuit slicer require either water or some sort of a fluid like lava. In this mod pack, the Infinity Water Cell from Applied Energistics is a bit expensive, so we're just gonna go with an aqueous accumulator. This is a cheaty thing somebody mentioned, but apparently we can have leaves and add water? That's nice. I mean, when I'm hiding it, I'm fine, because that has a weird texture. I have also made a very cheaty integral component, so that it works faster, and let us get a drawer. Oh, it doesn't go in. Yeah, you don't auto-output. That is perfectly fine, we pipe it out. And we can read that using a storage bus. And maybe a few upgrades. So that means we have water in the system, right? Perfect. I have to do the same thing with lava. I have already set up the lava, I have set in the patterns, and that means using the reaction chambers, what we should be able to do is to make some singularities. I have already made the one, but let's order the other one. Powdered ender. Oh, that's the wrong recipe. The crusher does give you a different version, not a big deal. So can I have a stack? Thank you. Lovely, that was fast. So obviously what we are going to need is the quantum alloy itself, and that requires quantum infusion. We're not filter rich, but I'm going to set every recipe to 1 stack. Because the machines from Mechanism are going to be surprisingly fast, and if we insert everything one by one, it's not going to be worth it. Since we are also getting a fluid, we might as well get a fluid drive, like so. And that should be my quantum alloy, if nothing goes wrong. How would you know if something has gone wrong? Okay, these are fine. You're also fine. Yeah, that is perfect. I'm happy. It's not a quest, because I think what you need to do is to make the quantum press, and I'm not gonna do that. Should I? It's like super cheap. I think since I'm going to consume some of my inscribers, let's dupe them one more time. You know, you just put a block of iron inside, nothing fancy. And that is engineering and logic. So there you go. That should be the quest. No? Okay, you have to hold a few things in your inventory. So let me try to make some patterns for the processors. I'll be right back. That part is super easy. So I automated everything, but it took me a really long time to figure out how the extended pattern works. So let me try to explain our problem first. This part is easy. 1 redstone gives you 1 enriched redstone, right? It can infuse 8 alloys. That goes inside the enriching factory, and if we order it, that's not a big deal. We already have 80, but let's order 1 more, and it's ready. So now, that has to go inside the metallurgic infuser, and if you want to configure it, you might notice a problem. So the pattern provider can be input and output, however, that redstone has to be an extra slot, which I'm going to put it in the back. And now if I want to make an enriched alloy, I have to make a few changes. First off, it's going to be 8 iron, then it's going to be 8 alloys, and 1 enriched redstone. That's our pattern, right? Then you need a brand new device called an advanced pattern encoder. That goes in. We can tell it that, hey, iron can go from bottom or down, and redstone will be in the back, which is east. And that's our pattern. So if that goes inside the pattern provider, and we order some infused alloy, it should craft it for us. Yeah, everything is in. It's just that we don't have power. It's fine. Don't you worry. Yeah, works perfectly. Oh, auto eject. Yes. I just wanted to mention that for different things, ratios are different. For example, for the basic circuits, it's only 4, not 8. But it's exactly the same setup. I have set in all the patterns and something just occurred to me. So this weird pattern thing that we just made, it's not useful. I mean, it goes inside the advanced pattern encoder, but for everything that I have used, I just use normal patterns. I don't really get it, but you might notice that we have something called hypercharged alloy. Aha. It's not a quest because I have already claimed the reward. These are the brand new things that we have to craft. But I have added a few more enrichment chambers so that we can divide the patterns. And I have also made 2 smelters. So of course all of them are going to be upgraded to factories. And I just want to try something. So these brand new alloys that we're getting, like the hypercharged one, are going to give us new tier installers. New cables, new pipes, etc. So I just want to know how amazing are they going to be. And I just had to put it inside the slowest one. Yeah, we just got it. So let's upgrade the furnace to maximum. See how it goes. So this is the ultimate version, what we already had. This is overclocked. Wow. What? Hi. And if we install all the upgrades and, you know, give it a bit of cobblestone, how fast is it going to be? That's amazing. It can go faster, I suppose. Actually, I forgot to check how much power do you consume. 22,000 RF, that's not bad. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a teeny tiny bit of time later, and I have done some progress. From one of the advancements when I was sleeping, you might notice that we have a quantum entangled singularity with a quantum link. I put the other quantum entangled singularity in my terminal together with a quantum bridge card, so we can access our Applied Energistics system in any dimension and at any distance. Now here's another thing. There is an infinite cobblestone generator from Applied Energistics, and well, that is the recipe for it. It requires infinity 1. And yeah, that's not gonna happen. Wait, is that... yeah, that's istnium. Oh, there is an essence for it. Okay, we're good. So for obvious reasons, infinite cobblestone is really not gonna happen, so we do have to cheat a bit. Under the mob farm, we are going to have 4 drawers like so. We're going to have cobblestone generators like so. I have made the upgrades, and we are going to link the drawers to our controller up there. And you know, lock them. Just in case. Also, I have made myself a wireless connector. We want to connect the drawers over there to our Applied Energistics system, that's it. And down here I have installed an ME wireless hub. It can hook up to 8 wireless access points, that's a good thing. So over here we can have a smart cable, a storage bus, 1 entangled block, and we're going to entangle it to the controller. That's it. Like so. So now we should have access to, yeah, 45,000 rotten flesh. And also our brand new cobblestone generator. So at first I wanted to go with stonework factories in order to get cobblestone, but I realized Mechanism machines are going to be incredibly fast. So if I have a recipe that 1 stack of cobblestone gives me 1 stack of gravel, that should be incredibly fast. That is my assumption. That's really good. It's not even fully upgraded. So we can do the same thing for sand, and dust for some reason is double. I just used the system in order to make 10,000 sand and it went surprisingly fast. Of course, this is a very temporary setup until I figure out the ore processing, but for the moment, I also have another problem. So our main goal for today is to try and make the quantum computer, right? You see the problem. We're missing 24,000 matter balls, and that's quite a big deal. So at this very moment, we don't really have an infinite water source. Yeah, there is the kitchen sink, that is an infinite water source, but we can't use it because I added the mod. The pack developer wanted us to use another route. The way that we are making matter balls at this very moment is actually quite simple. I have an aqueous accumulator, somewhere here, yeah. It's pumping the water into the matter condenser and we get matter balls, and that's the speed, which is not amazing. So we are going to try and use the electric pump from Mechanism. This is also going to be an ugly setup. Can we do that inside the compact machine? For garbage stuff. Compact machine maximum. Internal size 255 by 255 by 255. What? You know, I was looking for something a bit smaller. Even large is fine. Well, remember, in 1.20, for lag purposes, we have to put a few things inside the compact machine anyways. So I guess there you go. Bit of an overkill. So can we go in? I think it's loading. Wait, what's wrong with Wayla? I think we crashed. I'm back in. We're not using compact machines. Hoping that we're fine, right? Everything works? Seems to be fine. Well, we do have some places around the base which are going to be hollow. We might as well use those, because then I can just cover it. I went slightly more crazy than I was expecting, and you might notice that we're not even keeping up with the water. We have 8 matter condensers, and this is the rate that we're getting matter balls. This is also going to clog up our system, so we're just going to put it inside this drawer, and we're also going to set the storage bus on a higher priority. Like so. Yeah, the extra ones are going in. Perfect. I also realized my inventory is very clogged up, so I made myself an alchemical bag, which is purple. It does have huge storage. It doesn't really require anything from Project E, it's just a few covalence dusts. But our matter ball situation is improving relatively fine. We have 14,000. And I'm also sieving sand. You know, because we were also missing Certus quartz. Also, carrying sand like this manually isn't really productive. Maybe I should come up with a system for that. But in any case, I have to go and eat lunch, so let's make some Wyvern solar panels. 2 more. Because now the system knows how to craft everything. And then I'm just gonna AFK. Maybe up here? So after lunch, I also decided to take a nap, and unfortunately, I think I slept for like 1.5 hours. I didn't know I was tired. So in the meantime, we have 96,000 matter balls. So now if we want to have the quantum computer core, yeah, we can craft it. I think we need 2 or 3 of them, I'm not sure. But our CPUs are garbage, we can't order all of them at the same time. And since I have been AFK, phantoms are spawning, so I'm trying to catch one. Well, I caught 2, so I'm looking for 4 more. I made sure that I have not placed any magnum torches, so why aren't they spawning? Well, worst comes to worst, they do spawn in the nether. I'm not picky. As usual, there has been a slight miscalculation on my part and we needed way more quantum computers. Gather around, boys. I have a surprise. Nice. So I needed a humongous amount of resources and unfortunately I ran out of redstone as well. But this is the hollow hill, I have fortune 8. We're getting a lot. Enjoy the napalm. Aha. No. So in a previous hollow hill that we visited together, in one of the chests I found this, the map. I was looking for big hollow hills and I think this is the biggest I have ever seen. Right? Well, technically speaking, you wouldn't know what I have seen, but this is really big. Anyways, while we are here and we are gathering some resources, we might as well finish a few quests. You know, like killing the Naga. So, the Naga is gone. That was fast. We get our loot, which is perfect. That is a weird thing. I'm not edible. I'm sorry. The reason that I'm taking data models is that, for example, we need the Naga trophy in order to make the Aldemodium seed. Granted, we might need only the one, but you never know. Also, we have to kill it 6 times, so it's not that great. For something like the Naga, this is going to be super easy, but how would you do the Hydra? In case I have to. Or how would you do it for Cataclysm? That's the worst. And the funny thing is that these are actually quests. I have to take a data model. And I forgot what I should do. Yes, we hit the leech. And then we kill him. So, fun fact of the day, adventuring seems to be a very important part of this mod pack because there is something called an ultimate prediction, which is like every single prediction from every single boss. And you do need that in order to make the Infinity Catalyst. Recipe and item added by Real Spinel. Thanks a lot, don't hate me, hate him. Well, I guess there's not much we can do. We have to kill everyone. Where did you go? Okay, so I thought if we have to get a basic data model for every single mob, we're screwed, right? And honestly speaking, that idea was so stupid that I was like, there's no way in this universe that a mod pack works like this. And apparently it doesn't. There is a mod called Extra Hostile Neural Networks and it gives you something called Simulator Modeling. According to the CurseForge page, because I did not find the wiki, this is what's going to upgrade your data models. Unfortunately, I can't test it. Cause yeah, the recipe itself is not really a big deal, but the advanced crafting table is. This is black iron ingot, right? And that's the recipe. Well, this is a better recipe. There's also a garbage recipe. But either one, I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon. Also, the only item that we're waiting for the quantum computer is this guy. I'm out of redstone. Did you know that in order to test something, we can cheat? In a parallel universe, obviously. It has to be basic. Oops. I'm very sorry, I have to solve this problem. So I just killed one of the bosses from Cataclysm and I made a chicken feed. Does it work? Oh yeah, they do have spawn eggs. That's nice. So I can just spawn him? That's not a big deal then. Good morning. For me it is the next day and yes, we're finally back in our own world. A bit of a disclaimer, I just had my first sip of coffee. So probably my garbage voice is going to be worse than usual. But we have our quantum computer. So I made it 7 by 7 so that it will be like symmetrical and it does make sense, and it was a horrible decision. Cause yeah, even though you're going to fill it in with functional blocks, eventually you're going to fill it in with quantum crafting units, right? And that's a lot of singularities. But in any case, we have our 2 assembly matrices, we have a ton of processing power thanks to our quantum computer, we have a few jars. Later on I'm going to fill in these walls with a few gizmos, but we also have our drives here. On both sides. Another thing that I have done is that I have added 12 requesters over here and the terminal here. This one is just for decorations, because you know it has to be symmetrical. And most importantly, after I got the quantum computer, I got 4 more solar panels. So during the day and when it's not raining, which is not that often, I think we should generate 650,000 RF. It is very true, we can upgrade them, but very soon, probably next episode, we're going to advance to the next tier. That is the hope. In any case, we're generating way more power than we're consuming. So what is the plan for today's episode? Well, we have a few options. For me personally, having the quantum computer, the controller, the matrix and power is actually good enough infrastructure so that we can progress with the rest of the mod pack. I just wanted to get the basics done, that's it. Since today I was only focused on the basics, I think we should continue with the tradition and maybe start fresh next episode. You know, doing actual progress, like Infinity 1. However, there is one exception to that, and that is a mod called Void Miners. It's a copy of Environmental Tech and it just gives you solar panels as well as Void Miners. And exactly like Environmental Tech, you make the first crystal your own, the rest you have to mine. And as far as I'm understanding, there's no resource miner, it's just a miner for ores. So at least let us get the first tier, see how it works. I have already set in the patterns, this is why everything is so fast. So what do you need? 20 frames, I love the quantum computer, and 9 glass panes, that's it? Yeah, for some reason for the quest to count, we need 100 of these guys. Okay. Thank you. Don't you worry, it's not a huge waste, we need it for the other tiers of crystals. So my main question is, how would you assemble it? Shift right click for the structure guide. I have to make it myself? Don't think I have to assemble it myself, there should be something for it. The quest book does not tell you how to assemble it. That is a problem. So if you guys know anything, please let me know. First tier is not a big deal, I'm worried about the higher tier ones. Once you make the hole, you get the laser beam. I'm assuming it works exactly like Environmental Tech, we give it power, and I don't know, we put a barrel. Oh, there is a progress bar. Oh my goodness, you're so slow. I don't see any assemblers. Well, if you know anything, please let me know, before I make every single multi-block by hand. Also, we got nothing. Oh, there is something. Maybe you have to pipe it out? Yeah, for now we're just getting ores. I'm going to stop spamming these guys until you tell me if I have to make them manually or there is a wand or something. Never mind, I think I have figured it out. So we need to have a beacon, 2 buttons, and multi-builder tool. I just made an extra controller. Does it work? You have to choose the multi-block. So many multi-blocks. But yeah, you can select. Oh, and it will place it for you. Okay, then we're good. That means I can also start working on the sieves and hammers and etc. So now that we know how that one works, let's get back to business. The basics. I think I have probably found, that is from Cataclysm, that's not what I found, but I think I have found a cheaty way of getting the Mekasuit. And for that I need to find ghasts. I heard one, yes. Let's try to get 4. Just wait a second, I'm gonna kill you soon. So now the problem is that we need 6 of them. 5 more actually. That should be 2. I think they spawn in this biome, which is a very weird biome. Yeah, they spawn a lot. The problem is that ghasts are white, the biome is white. You get the gist. In that stupid biome there were so many ghasts that I did manage to upgrade the data models twice. Yeah, now they're advanced. And we have some ghast predictions, which is perfect. What we're looking for is actually ghast tiers, and I will explain to you in a moment. Probably you already know how it works, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah, we do need to have a few machines from a mod whose name shall not be mentioned, including a manufactory. I just set up the patterns for the upgrades. I'm assuming you still get 64, which I never understood why. Just have like 8. It just clogs up your inventory. Oh, and in this version you cannot shift click it in, you have to open the GUI. But just in case you're wondering, that was lithium. I also just made a few hearts, just in case. And yeah, we are also getting the gas tiers, which is perfect. So we do have the alchemistry mod in this mod pack, and I have already made a dissolver. Yeah, it's over here. I wanted a periodic table, that's it. But generally speaking, once you put gas tiers inside the dissolver, guess what you're going to get? That is called polonium. Ah, you see where I'm going with this, right? We got lithium, we got polonium, and now the only thing remaining is that we have to do a few gizmos. I have added a few alloy smelters from a mod whose name shall not be mentioned. You know, fully upgraded. That was like 2 stacks of upgrades. But don't you worry, we're going to have way more upgrades for the pressurizer. So now if we put our polonium inside a compactor from the alchemistry mod, we get polonium dust. That polonium dust inside the pressurizer, if I find it, yes, is gonna give us actual polonium pellets. Yeah, we got it. That's why I wanted gas tiers. However, a slight miscalculation that I have done is that, well, first off, nothing is automated, which is a bit concerning. But secondly, I forgot that we need HDPE. So let us see how we can solve everything. So for HDPE, I'm basically cheating. Behind our terminals, I do have an electrolytic separator, which is giving us hydrogen and oxygen, right? It goes into an overclocked chemical tank, and there's a storage bus. That does mean that we can read the oxygen as well as hydrogen in our Applied Energistics system. Then over here, I have 2 PRCs, 1 rotary condensator, and 1 enrichment chamber. So if I want to order something like substrate, that guy should craft it for me. That was fast. You know, the PRC is just configured to input and output everything to the pattern provider, and that's it. Even the rotary condensator. So now we can have a pattern for the HDPE pellet, and also a pattern for converting ethylene into liquid ethylene. So I should be able to order HDPE pellets. We got 1. Lovely. The reason I have an extra enrichment chamber is that, well, there is a recipe that 3 pellets is going to give you 1 sheet, and I don't want to mess it up with the other enrichment chambers. So give me an HDPE sheet, so that we know you're working fine. Lovely. So for the Mekasuit, I think we have everything. Well, except the induction cells, which this is why we got lithium. It's from a mod whose name shall not be mentioned. Obviously. Since I have to do a lot of exploration in this mod pack, I really prefer to just have the Mekasuit. I just added 8 dissolvers over here, everything is going through a chest, it's a temporary automation. But remember, each stack of gas tiers equals 1 polonium pellet. So I think that's a really good number. But if nothing has gone wrong, that should be our body armor. I'm so excited. That should be our helmet. Come on. Thank you. After a bunch of crafting, our pants, and the boot. I look fancy. Maybe without the jetpack and the backpack. Yeah, now I look fancy. Ignore the pink thing on my head. I like it. Obviously, having the Mekasuit without the upgrades is kind of garbage. So I have set in all the patterns for every single module that we have. It's just that we're not going to have enough polonium, that's obvious. But we're going to have a charge distribution unit. Energy unit, we're going to have half a stack. Radiation shielding, why not? The laser doohickey, why not? Purification, why not? And the gyroscope for the moment. And there's also a breeding unit. I was going to say maybe some of them don't require polonium, but that one does. But don't you worry, we are also getting more polonium. Oh, and yeah, in this version of Mechanism, it doesn't put everything inside at the same time. Takes a bit of time to do the upgrade. It's fine, I'm not in a hurry. Everything has been fully upgraded. And yeah, we're going to eat through our power. Actually, we're gaining power. That's not bad. Ah, bypass limits. Yeah, that makes much more sense. Although we're out of power. Well, we don't have to drain our entire power, we can just put it inside the solar panels to get charged. We don't have a decent buffer, that's the problem. But by having the Mekasuit, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode, but before doing that, I have 2 points. Well, actually 3 of them. Do we have enough coins? Not really. Okay, so, no flight. Point 1. Point 2 is that I'm receiving a lot of recommendations as what I should do, and I just wanted to remind you that this is episode 3, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, even though I kind of got the Mekasuit in a very cheaty way, We don't have that much technology. I mean, that's my sieving. That's it. And I just wanted to work on an infrastructure so that we can have the automations really fast. Other than that, I haven't done any progress. Which I will do, don't you worry. And besides, I make videos for YouTube, so it takes me longer to record something. For example, I do have to have a base. I can't just play on a platform, it's kind of frowned upon. And to be honest with you, I'm doing a really garbage job with the base. I have to fix it, very soon. In fact, next episode, we definitely have to have a second floor. And clean up the platform as best as we can. And of course, the final point that I wanted to mention is that yes, sometimes I use AI for the description, for the keywords, and also sometimes for the thumbnail, for some things that I cannot draw. I mean, for the description and keywords, I think it's an AI talking to an AI, which is YouTube's algorithm, so it's really not a bad thing. They understand each other better. And I don't want to sound very weird, but I do spend a lot of time on the videos as well as replying to comments and, editing everything. And there's so much time that you have in the world, you can't have more than 24 hours per day. So if somebody or something is writing me the description and the keywords, I don't mind. Besides, I check everything so that it doesn't say anything cheaty. Oh, and believe me, it does. Although this is a totally separate question, but what is it against AI? Because I'm a person, I'm playing the actual game. Even though YouTube had the option to reply to comments automatically using AI, I never used it. I'm just using it for things that don't really matter. It matters to YouTube, but not to viewers, I think. There are not that many comments, but I just wanted to know, if you're against AI, why are you against it? Unfortunately, it is the future. We might as well embrace it. But I am mumbling a lot. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one. Bye bye.